Hey, welcome. So, as a coach, you know that moment, right? A client walks in and their world has just been turned completely upside down by a crisis. Well, today we're going to break down a really powerful framework that helps you turn that crisis into an incredible catalyst for growth.
We talk about resilience all the time, but let's be real. What happens when bouncing back isn't even an option? Or what if it isn't even the right goal? What do you do when the crisis is so big, the person they were before just isn't there anymore?
You know, the old playbook of just coaching for resilience, it's starting to feel a little thin, isn't it? Especially when our clients are facing these massive, profound changes, we absolutely need a more dynamic, more transformative approach. One that doesn't just aim for recovery, but for a true reinvention.
And this is where things get really interesting. We're going to introduce a concept that is a total game changer for our coaching goals. It was coined by the author Nassim Nicholas Taleb, and it goes way, way beyond simple resilience. We're talking about building something so much more powerful, anti-fragility.
This idea is wow. It's a total paradigm shift. See, anti-fragility isn't just about weathering the storm. It's about actually harnessing the storm's energy, all that chaos, that stress, that uncertainty, and using that very energy to become fundamentally stronger and more capable than you were before. I mean, look at the difference here. It is stark. Resilience is about survival. Anti-fragility is about evolution. So the real question for us as coaches becomes, are we just helping our clients get back to the familiar shore they left behind, or are we helping them build a better boat so they can discover entirely new horizons? So yeah, this is basically our new mandate, our mission, if you will. We have to elevate our coaching beyond just recovery and aim for genuine reinvention. It's ambitious, for sure. But oh man, is it rewarding, both for our clients and honestly for us.
Okay, so this big idea of anti-fragility is great, but how do we actually do it? How do we make this practical in a real coaching session? Well, we do it through a really clear three-step framework that's designed to guide a client from the chaos of a crisis to the clarity of becoming a catalyst for their own change.
And the framework itself is beautifully simple, but it is profoundly effective. First, we create stability with an intentional pause. Then we explore new directions with a strategic pivot. And finally, we help them unleash their inner power to move forward with a totally new sense of purpose and strength. So let's start with the first step, which is probably the most counterintuitive, but absolutely the most crucial. The deliberate, powerful act of the pause. You know, when you're in the heart of a storm, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just stand still.
When a crisis hits, our instinct is to scramble, right? To find any solution right now. Your first job as a coach is to stop that frantic energy. The pause isn't passive. It's an active process of creating safety, of acknowledging what's real, and of calming the nervous system so that clear, high-quality thinking can actually happen. All right, so once that internal storm has calmed down a bit, we can finally start to look at the horizon. This is where that solid foundation from the pause allows us to explore a strategic pivot. The pivot is all about shifting perspective. A crisis is feedback. It's not a failure. So what is it teaching us? We use their core values as a compass, and this is key, we don't plan some giant leap. Instead, we prototype. We encourage these small, manageable steps. So for a client who lost their business, a prototype isn't writing a whole new business plan. It might just be having one coffee meeting with a mentor. So how can you help your clients prototype their next move? And this brings us to the final, and honestly, the most exhilarating stage of this whole transformation. After pausing to find their ground and pivoting to find a new direction, the client is finally ready to reclaim their agency and, well, power forward.
And let's be super clear here. This power comes from the client's own commitment and action. It doesn't come from you. Your role is to help them build that momentum with small, consistent wins. You help them integrate those hard-won lessons, so they don't just move on from the crisis. They move forward because of it, stepping into a new story where they are the author of their own growth.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does this really mean for your coaching practice? How does this framework actually change your role when a client is in the thick of a crisis? Here is your toolkit, things you can use like in your very next session. Reframe with powerful questions like, what might be possible if this crisis were actually an opportunity? Focus on creating that psychological space over rushing to find a solution. And always remember, your ultimate goal is to empower your client to rewrite their narrative, turning this point of pain into a true source of power.
This right here, this is the big shift.
You're no longer just a cheerleader on the sideline shouting, "You can do it! Bounce back!" No, you're in the arena with them. You're a strategic partner helping them architect what comes next, helping them build something stronger and more meaningful on the other side of the fire.
So as we finish up here, just think about your clients. Who's facing a storm right now? A client's face is probably popping into your head, isn't it? Use pause, pivot, and power to help them not just survive it, but to harness that wind and sail to a destination they never even